I want to talk about the 90-Day Fiancé tell-all, and mainly I want to focus on Shekinah and Amani. But first and foremost, I gotta let TLC know I am so tired of seeing Big Ed. Like, they need to stop trying to make Big Ed happen. I've seen enough of him. I'm fine. He's made me cringe more times than I like to admit. And I just didn't understand the value that he was adding coming to the tell. And they paid him, they flew him out there just for him to show up and tell Greg that he needs to move out the next 90 days. I'm like, dude, you were literally like 50 or in your 50s still living with your mother. You really have no room to talk. Same with Danielle, but I guess Danielle and Shekinah have beef, so I guess that's just TLC being messy and trying to put them in the same room together and see what pops off. So they're talking about plastic surgery, right? Shekinah's like, I got all my fillers dissolved, which isn't entirely true because she still has a lot of fillers in her lips. I guess she's talking about all the fillers in her face, but Shekinah said that she went back and got rid of all her fillers, but it did cause her eyes to start to kind of look like how Jasmine's eyes look like before she got that under eye surgery done. They were looking all baggy, and I guess that's probably why she got filler to begin with, because they told her, okay, the filler will just fill in those bags. So she ended up having to get some kind of surgery where I think they like tighten her skin, a facelift. And I remember seeing the aftermath of the facelift and the bandages on her face, and they like pulled her face up so much, like what Darcy and Stacy like to get. And oh my God, it looked like it hurt so bad. But she said that's all she's had done since then. And then Amani opened up about all the plastic surgery that she's had done. She said she had a BBL. She got her nose done. She got something done with her cheeks, or I don't know. The girl got multiple things done with it. And she was so freaking beautiful before. I don't think she needed all these unnecessary surgeries. So Sean, the host, asked Matt, her husband, and Ani what they think of her surgeries. And they're like, well, Matt was smart enough to be respectful. He's like, whatever she does, I'm going to love. That's my wife. But you could tell, like, if you loved it, man, you'd be like, hell yeah, I love that. But no, he did not seem excited. He just seemed like he wasn't trying to hurt Amani's feelings. And Ani was like, nope, she was going to be 100 with it. She said, I don't like it at all. I think it's too much. I think it's excessive. And you know what Amani had the balls to say? She said, it's their fault that I got the plastic surgery to begin with. She said they were going off on me, saying that I was too small. But Amani has even said, like, she's made posts on her IG saying, oh, I didn't like how small I was, and I didn't like how I didn't have a booty that claps, so that's why I got the BBL. Like, girl, just say that. But instead, she's trying to put it on Matt and Ani. Like, they're the reason why she got all these surgeries, because she said they were putting her down and making her feel so ugly. She's like, yeah, they called me ugly. Like, girl, I highly doubt that. Like, I highly doubt they're just sitting there like, oh, my God, girl, you are so ugly. And if they are, then you need to get rid of them quick. I think that's just Amani deflecting because she just does not want to admit that she has her own insecurities. So she would rather blame her need for constant plastic surgery on someone else. So Amani went on and she's like, I got all this plastic surgery, but I didn't want to change how I look. I'm happy with how I look. And Shekinah was like, bullshit. If you were happy with how you look, then you wouldn't feel the need to change how you look. Like, she was clocking that tea. And she was telling Amani exactly what the situation really is. And what's really sad is Amani was like, oh yeah, my daughter was like, Mommy, why did you change your nose? Like, it sounds like the daughter is not a fan of her new nose. And the thing is, the daughter has the same nose as Amani. So if Amani changes her nose, the daughter might be feeling like, okay, so is my nose not good enough either? Kind of was like, you know what, girl? You're calculated as hell. And apparently Amani reached out to Shekinah and she's like, girl, I just want to let you know and apologize in advance for anything I'm about to say, because I think Amani knew she was going to go to the tell-all. She was going to pop her shit so she can get as much screen time as possible and try to ensure another season, because I think she loves this reality TV shit and all the attention she gets from the show and all the money, because it's more money to go towards her plastic surgeries. Like someone said, I'm convinced that TLC, they don't pay the female cast members in cash. They're convinced they pay them in like gift certificates or in plastic surgery. Shekinah was like, yeah, you want to apologize for what you're going to say to me. And Amani was like, yeah, and you asked this question that was kind of out of pocket. So, of course, everybody leans in and they're like, what's the tea? And Shekinah was like, no, shh, you better not tell them. Do not tell them what I messaged you. And Amani was like literally, Shekinah just called out Amani for what Amani messaged her, apologizing for what she was going to say in advance. So how are you going to bring up what Amani said her messages, but Amani can't bring up the rude shit that you said in your messages? No, it's not going to work like that, honey. So Amani was like, yeah, so she ended up messaging me and asking me if my girlfriend Ani is trans. Like, are you serious? That is so freaking rude. Like, you could have just kept that question to yourself. Like, what kind of difference is it making in your life to ask that question? And Amani, she's going to side with her girlfriend. So she told Ani about that. And Ani was like, you know what? This is BS. This woman doesn't know me. She has no business asking that. And where are you getting this? Ani doesn't even look anywhere close to trans to me. Not in my opinion. Like, I haven't, there's a lot of trolls that watch reality TV shows that say some wild shit. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone assume that Ani's a man. You could have just left that question out. There's no reason for that. But she sat there and she felt confident enough to send the message. So feel confident enough to bring it up at the tell-all. And once Amani did, she kind of was like, you're a shady bitch. I sat there and I told you that in confidence, just like Amani told you what she told you in confidence, and you sat there and told everybody. So you don't sit there and get mad now. Ani called her out and she's like, you want to sit here and ask if I'm a trans when you're the one that looks like a trans? And you know what blew my mind is we got all these women arguing over, you look trans, are you trans, and just talking about all this trans stuff as an actual trans woman is actually sitting on the stage and just listening to all this. Like, I would have felt so uncomfortable if I was Aaliyah in that situation. Like, because they're going to want her opinion on all this, bringing up trans comments. It's all on Shekinah's side at first. Like, you go, girl. Get it. At the beginning, like when she was telling Amani, like, why did you get the surgeries if you didn't want to change how you looked? But once we found out about the trans comment, I'm like, girl, you lost me there. What really drove me crazy is the fact that she tried to gaslight Amani and say, well, sounds like you must have a problem with trans people since you're so upset about it. And I was just researching before I did this video. I forgot to mention this. So that faceless we talked about that Shekinah had that pulled up her whole face after she dissolved all her filler in her face, she revealed on a podcast she gained 70,000 followers off that picture after her surgery, showing off all the markings and scars and her facelift, because that was gnarly. I remember posting it to my stories, and even people that don't follow 90 Day Fiance, like just friends from my hometown, even they were messaging me about it. I got like a message from like a handful of friends that don't even watch the show, like, what the hell is this? What did this woman do to herself? We find out from Amani that Ani and her haven't even hooked up one-on-one. And it seemed like at the beginning that this is kind of like a throuple relationship more for Amani, because Amani wanted to explore women. But now it's just became more about Matt and Ani. This is my opinion. I think that Ani is into Matt, but she can't just be with Matt alone, because Amani is the one that is bankrolling them. She's the one that's sitting Ani money, taking care of her. And even people have asked Amani on Instagram, like, why are you fully supporting her? Because she claims she's paying for everything for Ani. Well, she was. And she's like, well, in my country that I'm from, the man takes care of his woman, you know? And I guess she kind of sees herself as the man in the relationship. And so she wants to take care of Ani fully. Maybe she's like, I believe that she's bi, but I think she's more into Matt. She's not that into Minnie. You can just tell by the way she acts and how interested she acts in a Minnie when she's around. Like, I'm not saying she doesn't show zero interest, but she definitely doesn't seem as interested in her as Matt. But they need to have a Minnie around, both of them, Matt and Ani both, to keep the lifestyle that they have going on, especially with Ani living in a different country, going to visit her. That is not cheap by any means. And it sounds like Matt's got to get him some coochie because I mean he don't got time for it. But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the tell-all in the comments.